Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a quick review of the SVBONY SV405CC Astro camera. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But we're also going to have a quick general look at Astro cameras themselves and how we choose which might be the best Astro camera for you. Welcome back to How's the Astro. Before we get into the video, can I just drop a very big thank you for all my new subscribers. Past 100 now, 115 on this current count. Thank you for coming and joining me on this journey. I really am only doing videos just if it proves helpful to anybody on their journey. So I'm very much a beginner at all this, and I'm learning as we go, so anything I pop up and learn, then I will pass on to you guys. But yeah, thanks everybody for who's joining me on this journey. If you are new here and you are enjoying the content, then please subscribe, drop a like on. It really helps the algorithm and pops my video up there, so thank you very much. Before we get into the review, let's look at cameras in general and what kind of journey we kind of go on when we start looking to attach cameras to our telescopes. So most of us will have something like this. This is a Canon EOS 500D. You can see these on eBay for relatively cheap money. It is a nice way to get into astro imaging, but there are quite a few drawbacks. Setting up with software, there is some software you can use called Backyard EOS, but it's a paid product which can do most of the stuff of sorting out how long the sub exposures are and how many frames to take and all that kind of thing. There is an ASCOM driver for them somewhere. I think Nina has got an ASCOM driver for Canons. I must admit I haven't checked it because trying to use this with the Skywatch 130p is a bit of a nightmare. The reason it is a nightmare is because these cameras, the sensor in them, the actual imaging sensor, is right at the very back. That is right at the very back of the camera body. So you've got the front of the camera body here, and the sensor is like here. It's from the front to where the sensor is 44 millimeters, and that tends to be the case for most DSLR cameras. So with the Skywatch 130p, the problem you've got is because the sensor is so far back, you just attaching this to the telescope won't work. You will never reach focus, so you have to do something. So what you get is, first of all, you get something like this. This is an EOS 2 T2 with a nose piece on it. That basically attaches to your camera. You could then plug that into your focuser if you wished, or what I had to do and what I was doing was using a Barlow lens. This is a 2x Barlow. Now, this Barlow in particular, it's a Celestron one. It's got T2 threads on the top. This has got T2 threads on it. Excellent. Screw it together. There you go. Plunk that in your telescope. It'll reach focus. But here's the drawback. Another drawback. So this is a 2x Barlow. So whatever image you were going to get, you're going to be zoomed in because it's 2 times. But when it's a 2x Barlow, not a 2x Barlow when it's connected to a DSLR, because the lens is so far away, because the actual Barlow lens itself is this part here. That's the Barlow lens part itself, because this Barlow lens is so far away from where the sensor is. This ×2 Barlow actually becomes something like a 2.8, 2.9-ish Barlow. So you are really zoomed in. Well, not zoomed in. It's the field of view. You kind of get it. But yeah, so it's a very small field of view for what an APS-C type size sensor would be. So that's the problem with DSLRs and things like Skywatch 130p. Not the PDS. If you went out and just bought 130 PDS, this would attach straight to it. The PDSs are designed for astrophotography and to be able to prime focus on a DSLR. So if you didn't have on a 130p, you could attach this straight to it. You'd be able to get focus, and you'd be able to get the full field of view you would get with an APS-C type size sensor. We'll come on to what the field of view and what different happens with different cameras, etc. shortly. So that's DSLR. That's what most people try and start off with. I did do a couple of images, deep space ones with this. I did a couple of moon videos, and I'll put a couple of links somewhere for the moon videos and stuff like that. I kind of did. There's nothing wrong with using these. It's a pain. And to get the Barlows in and get everything right. One thing I did figure, which I never actually managed to try, because I already bought actual cameras. So if you take the Barlow part of the lens off, that's a standard filter thread. So if we take our nose piece, we can screw the Barlow lens straight into the end of the nose piece. This obviously reduces that distance by that much. See that? By about that much, because that would be up there normally, but it's not. It's now, if I line those up together, there's like it's taken like all of that out. So that would push that more to be more of a 2 times. It might be 2.3, 2.2, 2.3. I don't know. I never actually managed to try it because I had an Astro camera at that stage. Okay, so that's DSLRs. What did we do then? We went and bought one of these, and I'll see if I went and bought one of these. This is a SV205CC. I spent a little bit more than that because I bought mine from Amazon. Amazon and SVBONY products. Sometimes they are cheaper on Amazon, sometimes they are more expensive on Amazon. If you're ever going to buy an SVBONY product, what I would always recommend is to check Amazon. Is it available? How much does it cost? Check the SVBONY website. If the SVBONY website has it in stock, and you can work out how much shipping is going to be, you'll often find that if you're willing to wait, it's about 2 weeks normally delivery time to get the parcel from Hong Kong. I think that's where they're posted out from, or China. You can get it cheaper from the SVBONY website. But sometimes, and only sometimes, they pop up on Amazon cheaper than what they are on the SVBONY website. There was I think the SV605CC for a period over Black Friday and all that was cheaper to buy on Amazon than it was to buy through SVBONY, including the shipping. So obviously check which one it is. So when I first got this, there was no gain control. This camera has no specific drivers. It's just a standard webcam driver, which it's a shame really, because the sensor in it's really good. It's just small. It's just a tiny sensor. And again, this will come into the field of view thing before, but you can see the black bit in the middle of that. That's the sensor. itself. Maybe I'll see it a little bit better that way. So the black square right in the centre, that's the size of the sensor. It's tiny. It's absolutely tiny. But it's a 4K camera with really tiny pixels, effectively. But because it just uses a webcam driver, you're limited in options. It will only do 1 second exposures maximum. So it's good for Planetary, and that's all it's designed for, really. Planetary, and that's it. So the only other thing I don't like about this one is the nose piece, and you'll see when I take this off, you'll see that I have wrapped it in PTFE tape to death to try and get the nose piece to stay on. The problem I think with this is something to do with the metals and what that is made out of. I don't know if that's plastic rather than aluminium or something, but there's definitely a thing between them where I had an issue. In fact, if I put it on top, I can just about just push it on. The PTFE tape has helped, and it will tighten up, so it will stay on. But it's something that I had an issue with. It doesn't help with when it's outside and cold. It kind of loosens up a little bit, so you have to just tighten it that little bit. But we've managed with it. We don't actually use it very often now, so I might put it on eBay, but we will see. So that was the next purchase. So we also tried using this as a guide camera as well. And it did kind of work. 1 second exposures is enough. But we decided we wanted something a little bit more actual guide camera-ish. So for a guide camera, we went and bought this little devil. There's a theme here. SVBONY. This is a 905cc. It is a colour camera. The sensor on it is again absolutely tiny. But I think it's larger pixel size, but smaller resolution. It's got a red thing on it around it, just so that for when you put it into the guide scope, it stays in the same place. And we've got kind of a marker. There's a nose piece extension, which just screws on in the end there, and then obviously we've got a dust cap. But that's what we use as a guiding camera. They call these lipstick cameras. This particular type, you've got the type with the base, which kind of stretches out, and all the electronics are there, and then you've got these type, which are lipstick cameras, they call them. Anyway, so that's what we're using as a guiding camera now. So then we wanted to try some form of decent camera for deep space objects, and you look at lots and lots of reviews, and everyone started going on about an IMX585 sensor and how good it is, how sensitive it is, and all sorts. So the IMX585 sensor was put into a lot of Planetary cameras. Ta-da! So this is SVBONY's version. This is the SV705CC. And why do we get this? Well, again, look at the sensor. It's a little bit bigger. And this has got proper drivers with it. You can take up to 2,000 second exposures. I'm usually taking like a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes sometimes. It has no amp glow. We'll discuss more what amp glow is when we look at the SV405CC, because that does have amp glow. I'll squeeze in some images of everything. So with the Canon, we took this is M13, and then we also tried to have a go at M106, which is a Galaxy. How you even managed to take these with this camera, with the Canon, I don't know, because it was a struggle. And then we swapped obviously to the SV705CC, and then we started taking images. And the first thing I did was M13 again. We've already done a picture of it. Let's do another one with, you know, a decent camera, and then let's see, you know, what we can get out of it. So we did M13, then we did M27, Dumbbell Nebula. I managed a 10 minutes of 1 minute exposures of M31 Andromeda Galaxy. That's all I managed to get on it with this one though. Just some clouds, weather and timing. Weather's been terrible. And then the last one we did was the picture of M33, which I thought was it was a really good image. That's the video you've seen before with you might have seen before, where we process it using Cyril and all the other bits and pieces. But it's an exceptionally good camera, and one of the best things about this camera, especially the SVBONY version, because most cameras are basically the same, apart from a few little bits of electronics in them. When I say a few bits of electronics, things like memory, I think this one's only got 128 meg in it. If you bought a ZWO version, I think this has got a 256 meg of memory in it. But the exceptional thing about this is it is ridiculously cheap. When I say ridiculously cheap, out of the box, you can buy that today. Okay, it needs shipping on it for £212.79. I think that's less than what I paid for it, to be honest. £212.79, and it is an exceptionally good camera. It's meant to be a planetary camera, but by all means use it for deep space objects. The fact that it isn't cooled, it's not, you know, we use that much denoising software and stuff to get rid of noise in images. I personally don't see it as that much of a problem that it isn't cooled. And the big difference, what are sold as planetary cameras or deep space object cameras, you will see the same sensor in planetary cameras as you will deep space object cameras, and the only difference with them is deep space object cameras are cooled and planetary cameras aren't. That's the only real difference with them. Maybe they might, you know, do some slight tweaks on memory size and stuff, but it's effectively the same sensor doing the exact same job with the exact same specifications, same pixel size, same number of pixels, you know, same quantum efficiency, all that stuff. It's all exactly the same. It's just one's cooled and it's a deep space object camera, and one's not cooled and they call that planetary camera. That's what I find, you know, that's in my opinion, as we like to say. So yeah, exceptionally good camera. And then we went and bought this chunky monkey. So this is our first cooled camera, the good old SV405CC. Now, size comparison. Let's see, it's actually in frame there. There you go. Size comparison. Deep space object is a lot bigger. That's a lot bigger. But it's mainly for the cooling. So this thing can do minus 30 degrees of ambient temperature. You've got your standard USB input on it, and then you've got another power input on it, basically. The camera will not work without the 12 volt power input. Yeah, just plugging the USB in isn't enough. You need whether you're running the cooling or not, you need to have the power in it, otherwise it doesn't work. This thing has amp glow, and I'll try and do a demonstration of what amp glow is. I might be able to have a dark I can open up in serial. Okay, so this is what we mean by amp glow. So this is a 5-minute dark exposure. Darks are calibration frames. We use a number of different calibration frames to try and remove things from images, and darks is just one type of calibration frame. Amp glow is where the electronics of the actual device put like this little starburst in. You get one on this side, you get a tiny one on this side, and then you might get a little bit at the top and a little bit of the on the bottom. Is amp glow a big problem? No, it isn't. But yeah, this is when they say something's got amp glow, this is what amp glow is. Okay, so why did we go for the SV405CC? Well, the main reason is, if you can see that, that's the size of the sensor. It is pretty big. It's not quite APS-C size, but it's a fairly decently sized sensor. So that comes important in a second when we start looking at the field of view. But that was the main reason I kind of chose it, and the main reason I chose it over the SV605CC, which is another option that SVBONY have. So yeah, so you've got the SV405CC, and then looking remarkably similar, you have the SV405CC, 605CC, sorry. The main difference between them is the size of the sensor and the number of pixels in it. So the 605CC is a square sensor, perfectly square. I think it's 3008 pixels wide by 3008 pixels wide. The SV405CC is 4144 by 2822. So it's a 4x3 sensor for the for the 405, and it's a perfectly square sensor for the 605. The 605 has got slightly smaller pixels, and the IMX294 has got slightly larger pixels. What I found, the reason why I went for the 405 over the 605 was the 605 has roughly the same field of view in width as the 705 does. So I wanted something with a bit more field of view to it. So even though you got more height in the 605 over the 705, I wanted more, so I went for the 405cc. But one thing that puts people off, I would guess, against the 405cc is the IMX294 sensor, because when it first came out, people had issues with it trying to calibrate the images. So when we're taking astro images, we used darks, flats, and biases. What everyone had an issue with was taking flats, and I don't think anyone really understood why. And they ended up just the way they got around it was to take extremely long exposure flats of 4, 5, 6 second long flat exposure. Now, when we take a flat frame, all we effectively want is to have we're basically imaging white light, but we want to have the median of that white light on the sensor to be about half of the bit depth. So even though these are 14-bit, we actually take 16-bit out. We output 16-bit out, then it kind of extends it out. So we kind of want the median of the image to be 35,000-ish. And trying to take trying to take a extremely long flat frame and keeping the median of about half of the range of values we've got in that image, I find difficult. My normal way of taking flats is a white t-shirt over the top of the scope, rubber band, hold it down, light panel as dim as possible. And when I say light panel, I mean it's a cheap tracing panel from Amazon, like 20 quid job. Stick it on top, lowest height, take a frame, and then look at the. If we use Nina, we use there's a flat frames wizard in there which will just calculate the length of the frame we need, and then just take consistently all the same exposure time. So my normal flat frame exposure length is ridiculously short. The last batch I did, actually with the 294 sensor, this is where it comes in. The last batch of flats I took was 0.04 seconds. So that's a big difference when instead of the 4 and 5 second long flat frames. So how do we do that? Well, the problem there is with this is, unlike most Astro cameras, they come with two gain ranges, low conversion gain and a high conversion gain. But you don't see it because in the driver, in the controls, you've just got one gain control. And all there is that at a certain point, that gain control will switch from low conversion gain to high conversion gain. So on the IMX294 sensors, it's at a value of 120. So at that 120 value, it flips over to high conversion gain. Now somewhere in the documentation of the IMX294, there's a little space when it first clicks over into high conversion gain, technically tell you to avoid using, but that's not built into the drivers. So the drivers just say high conversion gain, yeah, right, start there, blah blah blah. So what I ended up doing, there was before I bought this, because I was you always investigate things a little bit first. So there was a video by Andy of Astro, and he was having huge problems with his. He'd owned one for a long time, couldn't use it, and then I think he caught something in a forum post about this gain range you're not supposed to use. So he did a little bit of experimentation, and it's in his video. I'll put a link to it somewhere below, and you can see kind of the process that he went to with it. But top and bottom of it is you do some tests when you get your camera. You find out where your problem gain range is, because every sensor differs ever so slightly, so there's no one fixed number, and you avoid the gain range. You just stay out of it. Either stay below it in low conversion gain or stay above it. And what I found was my issue stopped when I hit 127 in gain, and that is exceptionally good for an IMX294. I think on Andy of Astros, I think he's hit about 150. So all I do is when I set my gain, I set it to 130. So I know I am outside of that problem gain range. If you want me to do a video on how you actually measure where the problem gain range is, and how you stay out of it and avoid the issues, drop me a comment and I will happily do one. I just didn't want to put it in this because it's getting quite long anyway, this particular video. But yeah, no, it's an exceptionally good Astro camera. Okay, let's quickly show you what this camera can actually do. So this is the image we took of M33 with the 705C. This little puppy. It's an excellent camera. I thought this was an excellent image. And then I thought when we had some clear weather on Thursday, Thursday just gone, we got the SV405CC out and we pointed it. I thought, let's point it at the exact same target and see what it does. And what we got was this one, and I think that's an exceptionally good image. Exceptionally good image. It's 50 5-minute subframes stacked together and processed the normal way. The way I tend to process an image at the minute seems to be quite the same method. It's slightly different to the processing videos I've done before. So I might do another processing video at some stage, but a lot of it's the same, but there's move things around a little bit. But I think this is a really good image. It's an exceptional camera, really good camera. The SV405CC. This was cooled down to minus 10 degrees as well, but you can see that the galaxy just really pops out. You've got a lot of the detail in there. We gained all the extremities of it, all the spirally arms and the wispy stuff is all in there, and it's it's framed nicely in the image as well. Could do with maybe a little bit of a tilt on it, but I still think that's a really good image. Very quickly, field of view. Let's have a look. So, when I retook M13, this is what we kind of use. This is Nina. For those who aren't initiated with some of the Astro software, I've only just started using it. I must admit, it's bloody brilliant. You can I literally set the telescope out in the garden, get polar aligned, come back inside, monitor everything from there, and just leave it out. It will sort meridian flips out, how many images you take in, dithering, guiding, everything. It will hook into all the little bits of software, and it is brilliant. I will do a video on it properly at some stage. I'll also do one about setting up, how I get set up and everything in the garden, because I haven't done that yet with the new mount, and I do want to do that. It's just been terrible weather. I managed to get out once more with the new camera and the mount, so we'll get something together. But anyway, what Nina has got is it's got a framing section which you can use to frame. So these are the specifications of the SV705C basically, and we've got the width in pixels, height in pixels, pixel size, and the focal length of the telescope. Note, it doesn't care what aperture size you've got, it just wants to know the focal length. So the Skywatch 150p, 650mm, excellent. And then obviously your camera could be rotated in a particular way, so you've got a dial and you can spin it around however it is. So what you can do, this is M13, what you can do, go into your Sky Atlas, choose a target you want. So in this case, let's try M33, set it to the framing assistant. It'll pop up in the framing assistant, and after a couple of seconds it will load an image and show you basically, and it is very WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, because I know for sure that that is roughly the M33 image framing that I got, because this blue star here on the bottom is in the right place. This star here is in the right place. That's how much of the galaxy I got. So I did cut a bit off of the top and the bottom. So that's the M33. So in the 705C IMX585 sensor. So what happens when we plumb in the details for the IMX294? And this is why we wanted this particular camera. So these are the details here: 4144, 2822, 4.63. So we change our width, 4144. Oops, no, not quite that wide. Let's try that one. We change our height to 2822. And this is, it was 4.63 for the pixel size. And that's the field of view you get with the SV405CC, which is much better for a lot of objects, just because you get a better framing of them. It's not as zoomed in. If we swap to M31 Andromeda Galaxy, again just set it to the framing assistant. A few minutes while it loads up the image, it picks it up from this fixed sky survey for the image source, and there you go. That's in there. Can we get all of that in this frame with this telescope? Might just be able to squeeze most of it in, and the two things. So that's not too bad. So we wouldn't, obviously, with the 705cc, we'd have to split this probably into four panels and try and do a mosaic of it, which I haven't tried doing yet, and I don't think I want to try doing it just yet, to be honest. I mean, I think if we wanted to take a proper image of this with the 130p, we'd probably have to do a couple of panels anyway. Maybe we could do, say, maybe two, and spin that round. We might be able to squeeze it in two panels there. I don't know. It's you can. Best thing about this, it's not even my imaging PC. I've just installed Nina on here so we can have a look at what the framing assistant is and does. Because of the way I've got everything set up through my OneDrive, if I think that's pretty good, we could do that. I could add it to a target list, save the target list. That appears in my OneDrive, and then is already on the laptop that I'm currently using for imaging. So when it's cloudy or windy and we don't want to be going outside, we can still do some astro stuff and prepare for what we kind of want to do. The next thing I want to try and get, because Orion is here. It should be the best time to image it, really, because we should be able to get the most time in a night. In fact, it's sort of rising a little bit too early at the minute. But we want to get the horse head, so we can frame that up however we want. I probably want to do it something like that, which I think is going to be pretty good. So how do we choose what astro camera to buy? Personally, this is my personal opinion, the only thing you really need to know is the field of view and what you're going to capture with it. You can make the choice if you want cooled or not cooled. Sometimes cameras are only available cooled, not available just as a planetary camera. But yeah, just basically grab your focal length of your telescope and the width, height and pixel size, and then you've got two options. You can throw it into something like Nina, which is kind of the better option. There's another way of doing it as well, which is there is a website called Astronomy Tools, and that you can basically put in imaging mode, put what the object is, or an object, so you can kind of see if it's going to fit within the field of view. You can put your telescope in. Mine's currently Skywatcher Explorer 130p. You put the camera in, and it will give you, click add to view, and it will give you a rough view of the field of view of what it will do. That's this is one of the ways I decided on the SV405CC, because when we put that in, it kind of shows you the difference between the two in one image, in one place, and you can see the difference. I think it's even got the Canon in here somewhere, so if I wanted to have another bash with the Canon EOS 500D, there it is, we could also add that one to view. So you can see there isn't much difference in sensor size between the 405cc and an APS-C size sensor. You can even then quickly change your telescope as well. So we're moving on to a new telescope. It's already here. We can add that to view again, so we can see the kind of difference. And that is the only real thing. I mean, obviously price is something, but the main thing you want to know is field of view, and what it's going to actually, when you point it at something, how big the image is what you're going to get out of that image. So I think we'll leave it there. So 405cc, excellent camera. You stay at that problem gain range. Normal flats, I've had no issues at all. You can do a video, say, if you want, on how we find the problem gain range and how to stay out of it, and etc. Yeah, thanks to all my subscribers. We've passed 100 now, 115 as of recording this, and thanks for joining me on this journey. So have a good Christmas, everybody, and do all the YouTubey things, subscribe, like, and etc, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.